Welcome back to Park City Television on this Parenting and Education Day. Many students are going remote for their learning this year online. What are some best practices to make the most of this time and to educate your student? Well, I spoke with Varsity Tutors Brian Galvin. He has some great ideas for us. Let's take a look.
Back to school is in full swing, and much like everything else in 2020, there is nothing normal about it. With families still facing uncertainties regarding school openings, safety measures, and remote learning, it's important to set yourself up for success. Joining us today to discuss is the Chief Academic Officer at Varsity Tutors, Brian Galvin. Brian, thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So we know that many kids will still be remote at the start of the school year, learning from home. What are some best practices for both parents and students as we gear up for a new year?
Sure. It's important to look at what are the things that are really instrumental in an in-person school day that aren't making it to the online remote school day. And I think it really starts with personal attention. You think about how many little interactions a teacher has with students every day, from a look across the classroom to say, I'm proud of you, or I know you're about to act up and don't even think about it, to, walking around, providing feedback, desk to desk, or saying good morning in the hallways or something like that. Those aren't translating really to Zoom. And so for parents, it's important to recognize kids need personal attention. It can be as simple as having them teach you something they learned every night at the dinner table so that they get that experience of articulating what they know to an adult and kind of feeling that feedback that what they're doing every day matters. It's also a reason that a lot of families are flocking to, private tutoring online or to small group, pod learning. Kids really crave personal attention. And this year we may need to be a little bit more creative about how we make sure they get it.
And has COVID-19 had any effect on kids' grade readiness, especially in relation to not finishing the school year in the normal way last year?
Absolutely. I think a lot of us are familiar with the term summer slide, or if you're off of school for 8 to 10 weeks, some of those skills regress because you're not using them. The COVID slide is more pronounced because it was a longer summer for a lot of students. It was a shakier spring, like you said. They didn't even necessarily finish the year, as effectively as normally. What's important for parents to recognize with the COVID slide, though, is it really amounts to use it or lose it. So if kids aren't reading or doing math problems over the summer, then those skills naturally atrophy. So the easiest thing to do is just get them doing those kinds of things. So if a kid doesn't love reading the classics like The Catcher in the Rye, but they're happy to read Harry Potter, hey, they're reading and those skills will come back. It's also important to note that not all skills are created equal. There are certain things that, if your math skills in multiplication are shaky, you're going to really struggle with division, or, with your skills with triangles are shaky. Trigonometry is going to be a mess, but other skills aren't as important. So it's important also to diagnose which skills, one is your student, a little bit rustier in, and two are on the critical path toward succeeding in the new school year. Our Learning Lab has free diagnostics with custom lesson plans to help make sure every student is prepared to thrive, in the school year, really hit the ground running.
And what's the trick to keeping kids engaged and motivated while learning from home?
It comes down to what's missing in an online remote school day versus an in-person school day. And if you think about it, things to look forward to are in short supply. In a normal school day, just during the day, you've got recess, or if you're older, you've got passing time between classes, and everybody's got lunch breaks. That's when you get to goof off with your friends. Whereas now, when class ends, you flip the laptop down. You're at the kitchen table with your parents and your siblings, and it's just not as much fun. So, and then after school, we've done a great job of moving quizzes, tests, and lectures online, but not extracurricular activities. So it's building things in so that kids have things to look forward to. So it can be as simple as put them on speakerphone with a friend while they're eating lunch. Now they get to goof off, let off a little bit of steam. Or, one of the most popular classes we had in our virtual summer camp series at Varsity Tutors was chess. And part of it is kids like chess, but also they were just craving some socialization, some kind of guided, they're learning, but they're really playing, some competition, finding, whether it's online or kind of creatively in the backyard, extracurricular things to look forward to after school. Kids are getting a lot of medicine to go down without a lot of spoonfuls of sugar. And as we need to get creative to provide those spoonfuls of sugar.
And speaking of missing out on things, how can kids get creative with extracurriculars when many of these activities have been canceled?
Yeah, that's kind of the $1 million question. That's nobody wakes up in the morning excited to go to school because they're going to learn about chlorophyll. They get excited because there's band practice after school or a soccer game or field trips. And so one thing we have going on, totally free, live online and interactive. We have a whole celebrity-led course series, everything from astronauts to Olympians. We had ESPN's Jay Williams teach a class this week on sports broadcasting. Utah's own Julianne Hough teach a class on motion and fitness. And so that's one thing you can do to kind of give kids a big thing to look forward to and kind of be inspired. One of our celebrity presenters, though, even mentioned, that his favorite gift, it's Phil Torres. He's on Discovery Channel and Animal Planet. Said he got a butterfly net when he was a kid, and then almost every afternoon could be a field trip, to kind of a zoo, so to speak, in his backyard because your yard is full of animals and nature and those kind of things. So, whether it's getting a little bit more acquainted with the exciting things around you or doing things like the Star Course series at Varsity Tutors. There are all kinds of exciting ways to get kids engaged, learning, and excited about, the new day and the new week, even while extracurriculars are shut down.
And again, where can we find more information?
Come find us at varsitytutors.com. There's everything from those diagnostic assessments and free custom learning plans to the free STAR courses to tutoring and small group learning on hundreds of subjects from academics to, learning Minecraft and coding and all those kind of things. So if you're looking for it, we've got it. Find us at varsitytutors.com.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, for talking with us today. It's such a unique time, but we appreciate having some ideas on how we can make the most of it with our kids and our students.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity.